Hi, my name's Ann Carolee, and I'm going to be doing a presentation for Leave No Trace. And I wanted to just say first is I have my mask around my neck, but I'm not going to put it on because so that you can all hear me, but I do have it. So thank you. Let's go. Hi. Hello, Annie Bear and your company. I'm Ann Carolee, and I'm a Leave No Trace workshop trainer, and I'm here today to talk about with you Leave No Trace principle number 5, which is minimize campfire impact. Now, from what I understand when Annie Bear and I talked on the phone, that you all are planning to go dispersed camping and wanted to learn how to have a campfire and make it so that you don't have much impact on the forest. So that's why we're here. So first, we're going to look and talk a little bit. I'm going to move you guys over here so you can see the screen. Annie Bear, you're going to come around with me. And we're going to talk a little bit about the things you need to do to recreate responsibly. And so we're looking at a couple websites that you all can actually go back to later. And so to do that, what does it mean to recreate responsibly? And so that means that we have a couple things that we have to do right now. As you know, in California, we have some really strict precautions for COVID-19. One of the things is we can't camp right now, but you all are planning to go camping once you're able to do it. You also know that you really have to be in the same household, which you all are, and so that's really good for it. So some things before you go camping, and this is planning, you need to know some of the rules. For example, in California, you need a campfire permit. So this is one of the things, this is the website, you'll go and get yourself a campfire permit. What was that, Moose? Oh, that's a very good question. You only need one person to have the campfire permit, but it would be a good idea if you all learned about it. But thanks for that question. So the other things to think about when you're going to go to the forest is you want to think about, is it safe to have a fire? So when would it not be safe to have a fire? VTS Bear? What was that? That's right. If it was really windy, we couldn't have a fire because of the danger for it. And it's also, like you said, we don't want to start a fire, and it may be right now there's a regulation that you can't even have a fire. So, and the other thing is that you want to make sure that you're following the dispersed camping rules. And that means that you're going to go someplace on the national forest and you're going to camp where it's in an undeveloped setting. So today, when we're talking about minimizing the campfire impact, we're talking about it because you're planning to go find a place, following the rules, and camp there as a group. So again, as you're doing it, you're going to think about, you're going to remember about fire safety, that you're going to clear the area, that you'll have a shovel and water, and someone will always be in attendance for the fire. You won't have a fire on windy days, and the fire will be dead out when you do it. So let's go outside because we're going to talk about when some of your possibilities to minimize the fire. So I've got a couple fun activities for us. So we're going to go out and do that. Thank you. Let's go out the front door. Great. Okay, we're outside and we're going to talk about a couple ways, different ways that we can minimize campfire use. So one of the ways is a stove. And now from what I understand is you are all planning to use a stove for all of your meals. So that is great because that's really going to minimize the amount of wood you use and also perhaps some damage to the wood. So that is really great. But Annie Bear was telling me on the phone that you're planning to have a campfire. Now, when you find a place to camp, you may find a place with a fire ring, which is a ring with some rocks, and that would be the best thing for your campfire, to use that. But if there isn't a campfire ring, there's another way to make a campfire, because you don't want to start a new ring. We want to really make sure that you minimize any damage or any notice that you were there in the woods. Because one of the things that we like to do, and what leave no trace means, is we can't tell we were there afterwards. So I'm going to teach you all, we're going to talk through how to make a mound fire. And I need some help here. Oh, yes, okay. You want to help me? Great. So we're going to put you three right down here. It's a little wet. And you're going to help me make the fire. Okay. So the first thing, you see the tarp I put down here? So we put a tarp down so that we won't hurt the ground. And you will also notice we kind of have ourselves on a really durable surface so that it won't hurt it. The next thing is I have a bag of gravel. Now we're going to pretend this is gravel, but here's some gravel that we're going to make. We're going to make a mound about 6 to 8 inches high and 10 to 12 inches wide. Thank you. Oh, I'm so glad all of you are helping me put these out. That's really, really helpful. So we have our mound of dirt. We're ready now, and we're going to go get ourselves some wood. So when you get wood and you're out in the woods, we want to get it. We're going to follow what are called the 4 Ds. Does anybody know what those are? Annie Bear, do you know what any of the Ds are for when we collect wood? No? Anybody want to take a guess? VTS Bear, that's right. Down is one of them. So the 4 of them are down, dead, dinky, and disperse. So that's where we're going to go do our activity and see if we can find wood that match those: down, dead, dinky, and dispersed. So what do you think down means? Moose? Yes, that's right. It's on the ground. What do you think dispersed means? Annie Bear? Yes, dispersed means that it's about 200 feet from where our fire is going to be. What about, did I do down? I don't know. Down and dead. What does dead mean? Yes, that's right. Dead means it's dead. It's not alive. And finally, dinky. What do you think dinky means? Little bear? What do you think? Huh, little bear? That's right. Dinky means it's small. So we think and look at a wrist, and it's about that size. So let's go out and see if we can find some wood that fit those requirements. We're looking for down, dead, dinky, and dispersed. Okay? Let's go. Okay. Look, so there's our first wood we found. Does it fit the 4 Ds? So they were down, yes, dead, yes, dinky. But what about dispersed? Annie Bear? Yes, that's right. This isn't far enough away. So even though these are great, we need to go find some other wood. Okay, let's go. Okay, well here's another choice. Is this right? I know you're showing me this to Annie Bear, but does this work? You're right. This tree is alive, so we can't use it. But there's some wood down there. So yes, not on the tree, but we could be able to pick up those because they're down, dead, and dinky. Okay, some other examples. Okay, well here's some other wood we found, Annie Bear. Does this would work? What do you think? Does this fit? It's dead and it's down. It's dispersed. It's a little ways from our campsite, but it does work. No, you're right. It's not dinky. It's too big for us to use. We want to make sure we use small pieces of wood. That's great. Let's go look and see if we can find some that fits everything.
Go.
Okay. Oh, that was a nice walk. We counted that off, didn't we, Annie Bear? That was 200 feet. Is that far enough? You're right. It's dispersed. We're far enough away to use this wood. And what does it look like? Does it hit the other D's? You're right. It's down, it's dinky, and it's dead. Let's take it back, okay? Are you ready? Let's grab it. Well, let's review about what the things we've done to minimize campfire impact here on your trip. But the first thing I want to make sure that I didn't say anything about before, we have a shovel and we have a bucket of water. And that's what we always have when we're going to build a campfire. We want to make sure if we need to put out the fire, and when we're done, we can really put out the fire well. So we need water and a shovel for that. So I'm sorry I didn't mention that earlier. Okay, let's review. So why do we want to minimize when we're out, the fire? Why do we want to minimize that? What do you think? Moose? That's right. We want to minimize it so the area stays beautiful, and also you can't really see that we were there. So we've made a low impact on the area. And we also want to be careful so we don't start a fire. And one of the things we can do is if we make a mound fire like we did here, that means that when it's done and we put it all out, we can disperse the ashes so nobody can see them. So those are some really good reasons. Then the other thing is when we're collecting wood, what do we want to do? What are the 4 Ds? Can each of them, you say something? Annie Bear, what did we learn? Disperse, that's right. We want to make sure we get wood that's far away, about 200 feet from our campsite. VTS Bear, yes, we want to make sure it's dead. Very good, we want to make sure it's dead. Moose, what is another one? Down, that's right. We want to make sure the wood is down. And what's the last one, Little Bear? Dinky, that's right. We want to make sure that the wood is dinky. So let's all say them together. Down, dead, dinky, and dispersed. Very good. Well, thank you very much for being with me today and learning how your trip, when you go on your camping trip, you can make sure that you're following Leave No Trace Principle 5, which is about minimizing campfire impact. And if you go to the Leave No Trace website, you can learn about the organization, and you can learn about the other 6 principles. That's LNT.org. So thank you very much for being with me today. Bye.